Hello, everyone. This is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. Get the music back, because I already miss it. You know, I'm gonna miss this opening thing once we're done with this game. I really, really like it. It's just so happy. Alright. Yeah, 96%. Yeah, I should finish it today. I'm actually kind of surprised I wasn't quite able to do it last time. And hello there, Protox. Welcome back. So I'll just go ahead and get in, and we'll see how long it all takes. There's only a couple of things. It's like, last time if I just had the what? 2 or 4 remaining Wickerlings there, I probably just would have finished it off. But then there was also the thing, with the jailers, and I wasn't quite sure how long that would take, so I figured I'd just save it all for now. What was I doing again? You know, I don't... Oh, you're right. I was going for that thing. Okay, I don't think I can get back up there from here, so... I got a little bit to walk. Alrighty. So... They introduced... They introduced, bouncing off of things with slugs. Or using the slug explosion to launch you. And that's what I gotta do to get this thing, I think. Which, I'm still not quite sure how I feel about it. It's not the worst, honestly. I think I was perhaps a little bit cranky last time when I was going through and seeing the mechanic for the first time, and it is a little annoying that it wasn't properly tutorialized, but I think that's more of a problem than the mechanic itself. How do I get over there again? Oh, right, I go up there. Okay. There we go. Okay. I do wish that they properly explained it at some point. But, And then there's a little bit of jank with it, with just, the way you can roll your ball is a little bit imprecise, and I'm also not sure if the side that the bug is on has any relevance here, and that kind of thing, but you can see that this game is very physicsy, so if you move a little bit, sometimes you just kind of roll back, and that makes it hard to aim the slug, and just minor things like that. But I guess on a whole, the jank compared to even just swinging around in a circle is only a little bit more. And I wouldn't call that extremely janky, just... Basically what I'm saying is it's actually not too bad. Let's see, where am I going? Okay, so I got the one right below me there, and then I was going for that one over there, and it kept pushing me off the cliff. So I didn't even need to get up there. That's fine. But we'll jump off the cliff, as you do in a video game. Okay, so I'll go pick up the slug from here. In theory. And I'll see about launching myself up there to get that wickerling. No, I need to be in here. I gotta go get the slug. Ow. Okay. Okay, so there we go, and unfortunately it's just right over here. So let's see if I can kind of align myself with it this time. I think, I hope, right there will do it. Yeah, okay, we're good. Okay, so that's one down. Let's just gently fall off the cliff here, and now I gotta get one more for that wickerling right over there, but again, it's not that far away. And actually, I'm curious, how many do I have right now? Okay, so... I knew there was something up. I kind of had a feeling there was something up. I think this is the last one on the map. I'll double check. But I remember when I was looking up spoilers that there was another person that required a specific combination of ball bubble things. The thing that changes the color of the ball you pull around. And... oh no, there it is. Okay, well, I'll still do that anyway. But yes, there is a person that requires another specific combination of cosmetic on the ball. And I was wondering if she had a wickerling. Turns out no. I just missed the last one. It's all the way up in the upper right. Okay, cool. And that is number 9, right? Yeah. Okay. So this will get me the last one. I just have to remember how to get up there, but I think this time I actually do want to get up here and launch myself over here. Oh god, and I have to go up this thing again. Life is hard, I tell ya. Oh yeah, that one! Yeah, I didn't know how to get over there. But now I know it's probably slug launching, and it looks like the nearest source of slugs is all the way over there in the spider den. Oh god. I have to get it all the way up there before it explodes? Well, I think I can probably do that. Let's let's go find out. After I climb this tree again. I swear, I'm just gonna have nightmares about thorny trees and flowers after this. It's not that bad, but I always mess it up once or twice, and it brings me, like, all the way back to the bottom, and then I get sad. See, you gotta laugh at the sadness. Always laugh at your sadness, because otherwise you'll cry. Okay, let's try that one again. There we go, not so bad. Alright, so, yes. So the answer here all along was to launch myself with a slug. And that's how you jump in this game. Yeah, I can accept it, but... Oh, man. I'm a little scared. Okay, well, here goes nothing. There aren't any slugs up there, so I really do think that the nearest source of slug is over here. All the way over here. So I gotta get out of this be able to get out of this pinball machine real fast. Ooh boy. Ooh boy. I don't know why I'm lighting up all the dots, but I guess it makes me happy, so that's all that really matters. I am just so full of fruit. Okay, there we go. Oh god. Oh god. So let's see, I probably want to get to the other side and then just knock myself into the slugs with the blue paddle there. Oh, nope, that shot me around. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Life is hard. Okay. You know, you would think that I would stop hitting wrong buttons at this point of the game, but... And that wasn't even left and right confusion. I just accidentally... I just accidentally hit A instead of J. Alrighty. So up we go, and... You know, if it wants to send me around the slugs... It does feel like the game kind of wants to do that. And I wonder how I'm supposed to hit him without any of the other stuff from the spider boss in there. Yeah, see, it just wants to send me around. But that does appear to be the only source of slug in this area, so there's got to be a way to get in there. I wish I didn't have to do this rigmarole every time I mess it up, but... For some reason, I am especially impatient today. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have to hit the blue one, but it does not want to knock me into the blue one. It just wants to send me all the way around. There we go. Like, I keep trying to hit it from the top, but does not always cooperate with me. And sometimes it still sends me just all the way around. There we go. There we go. Okay. Because here, if I wait for it to go all the way to the tip, it just sends me around the slugs. And not into them, see? It just sends me around them. So how do I hit them? Okay, there we go. Even more on the tip. Gotta really live on the edge and just not be afraid. Okay, then I gotta try to get out of here real fast. Okay, that's actually real easy. Okay, cool. Oh wait, no, that's not where I want to go. I need the next one. And then I have to get up here really fast too. Man, that's rough. That's actually really hard. It makes it easy to get out. But how do I get all the way up there fast enough? Like, the slug does not wait for you very long. Okay, I'm gonna go look over here real quick and just find where I want to put myself for proper launch. So if I were to be stable on the ground, it'd be from here? This is where I'd want to launch myself? And I'm not sure if I can do it very well from mid-air over here, but if I did, it'd be from right there. So I have to at least get to this yellow one there. Okay. I'm terrified. Well, let's go. You know, sometimes it's all you can do. Just go. I'm gonna try to spot another slug if I can't. Oh no, I was able to get that one. Nice. Okay, get me out of here, and now I gotta walk as fast as I can through the snow there, and pray that the paddles cooperate with me. Nope, knocked me down there. Okay, what do I do to launch myself properly from this one? Let's practice a little bit. Because this one's finicky. Okay. Okay, I think I know what to do. I must make physics work for me. Instead of me just being an eternal slave to physics. Okay, here we go. Oh. Pain. There we go. Okay, now I just gotta shoot myself up there, no problem, right? Man, and suddenly I'm just able to hit that all the time now. Nice. Missed the slug, but it's good to know that my aim... Well, that I'm understanding it, I guess I should say. Okay, I'm not waiting long enough. I just don't want to wait too long, because I'm also trying not to hit more slugs like that. I think I mentioned this before, but I really do appreciate that they light up on the paddles. This way you know kind of where on the paddle that you are gonna hit. Oh, come on. Really? Okay. Want to like you, game. And I do. I genuinely do. It's kind of the hazard of 100% in games sometimes, is that, they want to make... I can tell that I feel like the developers wanted to make a little bit more use of some of the mechanic ideas that they had, but didn't really feel like a lot of them fit into the main game. Like, they might have been a little bit too hard, or... I guess maybe a little bit too jank, so they kind of put them in post-game content instead, and then make the rest of the game a little bit harder, so that this way the people that want an easier game can just go through and get a good ending. Why am I stuck? I cannot get out. Okay. Well, that was unfortunate. It's especially common in games meant for, like, young children. So you see it a lot in a lot of Super Mario games, like, you know, especially the 3D ones with a heavier emphasis on exploration, where you only need a very small percentage of the stars in Super Mario 64, or the star shines in Super Mario Sunshine, and it's the same with, like, Super Mario Odyssey and all of that, where you only need a very small percentage of them, but you might get, like, an additional reward for getting all of them. And, you know, that lets some of the young ones do what suits them, and what they are able to do and what they are good at, and still be able to reach an ending. And I don't think it's like that just for games meant for kids. It just that's just where I see it the most. I do... Oops. I didn't hit the button in time because I was distracted. I do see it in games meant for adults too, but It's fairly common. Very few games will expect you to get everything. But I do wish that games thought about their completionist types a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Hollow Knight was honestly when I really started thinking about this. The pantheon of hollowness was just such a thing. Yay! Okay, I'm free. Before the pantheon of hollowness, I was like, no, you know, put in all the extra things. And, you know, it's not a big deal if you don't 100% a game, if it's too hard. Or if there's just too much stuff. Because, like, you don't have to do it, but... I don't know, the more I thought about it, the more I realized I just don't like that philosophy anymore. Everything that you put in the game, it should serve to make the game better. Not to pad out playtime. Or, be something that... drives people mad, I guess. Anyway, time to head back to town. Because I gotta go get that last effigy way in the lower right. Fortunately, that's like right next to the beeline here. I tried to jump. I don't know, it's something I've been thinking about a lot lately, of just, padding in games, because it's become more of a thing that I feel like it used to be like 10 years ago. So I've been thinking about it more, and... I don't know, it kind of makes me sad. Because I do enjoy collectible hunts to an extent. I don't think that they're inherently bad, but they can be made extremely bad. And I don't think I need to go into a lot of detail to explain that, given the state of modern gaming. Oops. Want me to change which shift key I use. There we go. Okay. So it's just right there in the water. So I'm pretty sure I have to come at it from the far side there. There we go. No. Okay. I was curious to see if pressing enter while I was holding up would let me go up faster, but no, enter only brings you down. Alright, there we go! Let us unleash the fetus! Ooh, and we even get spooky music. Alright, let's go! You know things are getting real when the spooky music comes out. Unfortunately, I have the little path up there unlocked here, so here we go. Hello, friends! I got all the things! Life is returning. Oh, hello, friend. You look a lot less ominous than your counterpart. For centuries, I have waited, dreaming of the outside world. With my birth, the cycle of island ancients will start again. As I spread my wings and fly across the ocean, new islands will sprout. Come, Yoku, join me on my journey. You have earned it. Yeah, sure, let's check it out. I still don't have control. Oh man, I don't even get to say no. Let's go for a ride. Okay. And we get jaunty music too, hell yeah. Oh, and it's another credits roll, okay. Yeah, I like this game. I still think it was really good. Just a very lighthearted, a very... I'm trying to think. You know, let me just think about it for a second while we enjoy the pretty little animation and the nice music. Yeah, it was a very lighthearted, very simple. The controls, you know, other than me being super dyslexic about my left and right constantly, very easy to master and very easy to get into. And more importantly, I felt like it just went all in on its gimmick. Like, it wanted to make a pinball exploration game. So it made a thing where you can kind of explore around, and figuring out how to navigate through all the pinball machines and all of that was really solidly done. And then they added some things even going around the field of that felt very pinball, especially that power up from the mountains. That felt extremely pinball, all to the point that I felt like I could barely control it sometimes. Like if I have any complaints, it's just that flinging yourself around like that with the flower and the slug, maybe a little bit hard to control, but I don't think the game ever expected that much precision from you. That maybe going to that island at the top of the tree is like the most precise I had to be all game, and that wasn't that bad. I think the only reason I got driven a little bit nuts was because I was doing it on stream, and I always feel really, really awkward when I'm trying and failing a lot of things. Super awkward, man. But I mean, really, I just kind of feel like it nailed everything it tried. The atmosphere is perfect, the music is perfect, and it did what it wanted to do. It never tried to be anything else. Like, it didn't want to be a hard game, so it didn't really try. It just kind of let you derp around, and, you know, that's kind of exactly what I needed right now. So that was pretty fantastic. I was quite happy, so I'm glad that I decided to pick up this game. Just very, very simple little game. Did exactly what it wanted to do, I think. So there we go. Alright, I appreciate that line at the bottom. And thank you for making this game. Like I said, it was exactly what I needed right now. I've been playing many a hard Metroidvania, and it was nice to just kind of chill out with a jaunty Calypso-themed thing. Okay, and I guess it... Oh, okay. So it brought me back to the main menu, even though it's not actually at 100% yet. But okay, I have all the things. Yep. Oh, okay, so it takes you back before you lit the final effigy. Oh, that actually makes me a little sad. But, alright, let's go finish off those last few things. So I think a lot of what comes down... Whether or not somebody will like this game, what it comes down to is... Do you like what it is trying to do? It is trying to be a little bit weird. It wants to play with pinball mechanics in a different way. And it wants to play with the Metroidvania genre in a different way. And it also wants to be simple and not that hard. So I do think that it is important that you're kind of interested in all those things. Because if you're not, like, it doesn't try to be anything else. It sets out to do that, specifically. So, if that sounds interesting, then I think this game is worth picking up. I liked it a lot. Anyway, let's go turn my ball into a ball of poop, because I need to do that in order to go talk to a person, apparently. So I'll go just... Whoops. Want me to change shift keys. Alright. So yeah, I'll just go and finish out those last few things. So I'll go see about collecting the rest of the escapees and bring them back to suffer their eternal punishment, and go turn my ball into some poo and talk to a person. I'll do that first because that's easy. There we go. So where were they again? It was like the little house over here somewhere. Yeah, right there. That's where I want to go. How do I get there again? Probably from down there. Okay. So no, I want to be going the other way then, because it'll be faster to get there via beeline. Yeah, this is the right one. I had to think about it for a second. Go see our friend the Eldritch Horror on our way. As you do. And then I just drop from right here, and that'll take me right where I want to go. How do I get up there again? Just having to remember all kinds of things. Okay, I can't actually launch myself up there. I don't remember how to get up there. Oh, that might be a problem. Can I get up there from... No, I definitely can't, because... From there, maybe? Yeah, there we go. Not the one I was looking at, but, you know, close enough. Okay. So this person apparently wanted us to turn our ball into a ball of poo. There we go. Hello, friend. I'm keeping it basic. The constant pulse of the village just makes my head spin. Those jokers up there have really lost track of what's important. It's so unnatural. Whoa, dung ball, I love it. It's really sticking it to those sheeple up in the village. Here, buddy, have some fruit for your keeping it natural. All right, well, thank you. I don't need fruit right now, but I appreciate the sentiment. Okay, and then I'll just get out of here. I don't really need to do it like this, but I guess I was. It's fine. I'm just gonna get out this way. That'll be a little easier. And then I just need to find the nearest way to get on the beeline here, which looks like it's gonna be over there. So I'll go ahead and jump off the cliff over here. Actually, I don't even need to go to the beeline right now, I don't think. Yeah, because where I want to go is over here anyway. Okay, so to over there! How do I get over there again? This is one of the downsides. Yes, YouTube does still hate you. But this is one of the downsides of the pinball mechanics, is that it is not always immediately clear how to get from point A to point B. That's okay, it doesn't have to be. It's pretty easy to figure out. Alright. Let's go back into that gorilla. I wasn't quite sure what it meant before. Like, last time I went in there, I did see that there were those two purple things I could break, but last time I went there, that was just for unlocking keys? Oh, this isn't where I wanted to go. Oops. So, I did not think that it was the way to get more of the escapees. Oh god, how do I get out of here? Please, there we go, set me free. Okay. But anyway, welcome back, Blood Bullet. I am sorry that YouTube still hates you. It's deeply unfortunate. How do I get over there again? Yeah, just keep going. I'm going the right way. I just gotta get good at flinging myself, and I don't think that's ever gonna happen. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like I said, I checked all the stuff on my end, but I didn't see anything. I legitimately have no idea why YouTube has just decided that it does not want you to appear in the chat. There we go. Off to the Grilla Woods. While everything is raining. Okay. Right. That's not how I get there. I get there over here. That mushroom still just looks so sad. Okay, here we go. So I'll see what's in the purple things. And I'll see if there are any more guys I have to care about in there. Alas. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I wish I could do something, man. Okay, so yeah, they are in there now. Okay. So I'll go ahead and collect all these guys. Go ahead and try to figure out how to hit that one over on the other side there. It's not going great, but... Okay. Let's see. How do I get there? It's got to be like right there. Perfect. Okay. I just got to get myself back onto the blue side. Okay, I gotta get back into the monkey's mouth. There we go. Because I want that configuration. Ah, game! Oh no, am I stuck? No, I'm not stuck. Okay, good. Kick me out, rude. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there we go. So now I should be able to get out of here. So it really was just there. I thought that was just keys again. Okay. So I'm gonna head back to town because I need to turn my ball red. How do I get out of here? Oh, yeah. And up here. Perfect. Okay. And then the B line is just right over here, and then I'll turn my ball red again. At least I assume I have to. Where's the B line? Over there. Okay. So no, I don't want to go up there. I know it's telling me Mokomana Village is up there, but this way's way faster now. And it's way more convenient. Alrighty. Oops. Yeah, sometimes it wants you to change which directional shift you use, and it always throws me off. Okay. Let's wash off the poop here, and then I can get the red cloak instead. There we go. Okay, so... There. Okay, I'm pretty sure I can just jump off the cliff over here. As you do. And that'll take me pretty close to where I want to go. Oh, I can't jump off the cliff over here because game says no. Oh, it's fine. I'll jump off like this. It can't stop me from jumping off cliffs. I'll do what I want. Eh. Okay. From here... Yeah, I know where I'm going. Normally I think I get here from the other side, but you know, this works too. It's all good. Then I can go over here and go through the big tube. And then I just go swim in the water. Alrighty, here we go. Oh, hello. Yes, don't worry, I'm very red. You have brought a traitor spirit back. Excellent. Place it inside the cage so that it may resume its torment. Sure thing, buddy. I too like making things resume their torment. Oh, is that all? Okay. You have returned the betrayers to the prison in which they will resume their eternal punishment. Please accept this medallion as your reward. You have earned it by showing you are as sympathetic to our rage. This medallion is the ancient relic of the Unders, passed down through generations. Anyone who wears it will receive great fortune. You got the boon of plenty. It doubles the value of every fruit collected. Okay, well that's cool. I'll take it. And I actually think that is everything. Yeah. So I think that is the game super cleared at this point. Well, I'm here, and going through the credits again will kick me back to the title screen. So, let's see. I don't want to stop now because that would be a very, very, very short stream, so I guess I can just kind of yap about the game and possibly games in general for a bit, because I've referenced a few things throughout the series. So, you know, opinions on things and whatnot. So let me get back to the title here, you know, in theory. It was a pretty little ending sequence, so I'll just go ahead and play it again, because why not? I'm gonna break this because I can. Yay. Okay. They really do launch you quite far, don't they? Okay. So I'll head on over to the beeline again. I didn't know if that was going to be a whole thing, so if I had known that it was just that, I probably would have just finished everything last time, but you know what, it's okay. I'll just ramble for a while, it's fine. It was a pretty little ending sequence, so let's just go do it one more time, because why not? I've got the time at this point. You know, I'm kind of glad that I picked a really conveniently located one for the last one, and that it wasn't one just a really awkward to get place. I'm really, really, really glad. Just so this way, you know, I can unleash the fetus one more time. Look how happy he looks. You know, last time I didn't talk to all the dudes around there, so you know what? I'll do that this time. I'll just try to get the last little bits of dialogue here. Maybe they say something different now that the fetus can hatch. There we go. So I don't know, do you guys have anything to say? Hey, buddy. The god egg is ready to hatch! I thought this day would never come! Oh, I'm so excited. What about you? How do you feel? How do you feel about all this, buddy? Can I talk to you? Yeah. The god egg is glowing! Could it be? Is it about to hatch? Yeah, sure is. You know, the moment I interact with the thing. Because I am the protagonist and this world revolves around me. The God Slayer lost its power when it was defeated. After it reverted to its weaker form, we saw it creeping away toward the Ivory Peaks. I doubt Kickback will try anything again after the thrashing we handed out. Okay. So all that is unrelated to things. I have already forgiven Kickback, so it's fine. Okay. And I already read all the dialogue here, so I'll just skip through it. It's very impressive. Look how pretty that is. Look how happy he looks. He's a cutie. Got, like, little mosquito, dragonfly, ant thing going on, I guess. I think it actually has 8 legs, so that's probably more spider than ant, but it doesn't feel very spider to me, so I'm not too bothered. I will refrain from acknowledging the spiderness. That makes me feel better. Okay, so there we go. We can go ahead and just let this play, and then let it kick me back to the title screen, and I'll just talk about things. Game was good. I already summarized my thoughts, so I won't do it again. But nonetheless, all these people, I think you did a good job. I like your game. It was a very nice little game. And I needed a relaxing time after all the hard games that I've been playing lately. Let's see, next game, I decided I wanted to play Sheepo. I don't know very much about it, just that it was also another kind of low-stress Metroidvania that kind of did some interesting things. I don't know what that means exactly, but it looked pretty cool, so I figured I'd check it out. As always, I try not to read too much into the games that I play so I can stay really, really blind on them. May or may not do that for every game I play, but for the Metroidvanias, I actually really, really like going in as blind as possible. Some games, I don't think you really have to do that, but even for those, I do like to go in blind when I can. Just because it really lets me, how to say, look at how the game presents things, whether or not it succeeds or fails in presentation. How often do I feel like I have to, like, look outside for documentation or things, and that kind of thing. Because I actually do think that how the game introduces mechanics and how it teaches you how to play it and what you're supposed to do is really valuable to look at. Like, unironically, I think it's very, very valuable to look at. I think I've mentioned many times in this channel that the biggest thing that got me into watching VTubers was actually watching people play Outer Wilds. I really, really like watching people play that game because that game is fascinating. It being a game that I really enjoy, just in general aside, I do think that watching people go through it is just really, really interesting. Because everybody's approach is a little bit different. And the way that game presents information, I think is just super, super interesting. And just the different ways you can find your way from one piece of information to the next. That's basically what the entire game is. It's just exploration where you gather information and eventually piece together what's going on. That's basically the entire thing, and I think it's fantastic. So I just find that aspect of game development really, really interesting, of just figuring out how to introduce people to your game, encourage them to see the things that you want them to see, and how to get them to go where you want them to go without, like, putting yellow paint on everything. Because letting players kind of discover it for themselves, I think, is immensely valuable. And it'll make them feel smart. And it'll make them more likely to actually engage with the game. So it is something that I like to study very directly. So hence me going into games very blind and saying, you know, I don't really know a lot about this game that I'm about to play, but it looks cool, so I'll roll with it. And then depending on how Sheepo goes, I heard it's a very short game, so we'll see how that works out. But I want to play Ender Magnolia after. Unless I am just, like, super hyper-stressed. Which is possible. Given next year, I really want to start doing more things for the channel. I want to maybe not quite get into Inktober pace where I'm posting a video every day, but I would like to, you know, post some art shorts 2 or 3 times a week at minimum, if I can. So we'll see how I feel. Or if I want to do some easier games, or I don't know, maybe I'll just do some of, like, the most normie stuff and play, like, Stardew Valley or something. Who knows? But I do want to play Ender Magnolia at some point. I just needed to cool down from all the hard games I've been playing, because if it's anything like Ender Lilies, it's probably gonna be pretty hard. So there you go, one of my hobbies with game development, of just, and watching people play games and playing games myself, of just figuring out how people present information. I like doing that. A lot. Because I think every game kind of has a particular way that the developers kind of envision people playing it. Whether that's, you know, more casual derping around, or going from point A to point B, spending a lot of time fighting enemies, you know, whatever it might be. I do think that the developers generally have a particular way in mind. Sometimes multiple, depending on the game. I think, like, RimWorld, for example, had multiple things in mind. That's why they had different... They call them storytellers. So that they have different ways for events to be thrown at you, and the types of events that get thrown at you. On whether you want, like, actual challenges, or you just kind of want to be laid back and silly. But, so yeah, that's an example of a game that I think has multiple ways that it wants to be played. But I do think that most games, the developers have a way in mind, and, you know, possibly more than one. And conveying that to the player without just outright stating it, because that's annoying and will make your player not want to play the game like that, I think it's a good way to go. And I think it's important to do, because I think that if you can align the player's expectations with your goals, they'll just have a better time at playing the game. And it'll be great. And I've been thinking a lot about just little things that help you do that. Like, when I was playing After Image, one of the very first things that the game does, well, not... I guess I shouldn't say one of the first things. It took me a little while to get to that point. But early on, it gave you a waypoint on the other side of its huge map. Like, you're pretty much all the way on the west, and this is, like, all the way on the east. So there was just this big gap of unknown, and then you have this waypoint saying, hey, main quest says you should go here. And it gave you a clear sense of direction. Well, the game made it quite clear, hey, maybe head in this general direction, but, you know, if you see something cool, just go check it out, it's fine. And I think that's good for certain types of exploration games. The way Outer Wilds handled this was, at the very beginning of the game, before you can even take off for the first time. You go talk to an alien. And I guess I shouldn't call them aliens because they're the same species as the protagonist, but you go talk to a guy. And it lists out a few goals that you can have, like, I want to go somewhere no one's ever gone before. I want to do something easy and simple, or I can't actually remember what the other options are, but those were the ones that stuck out to me. And then before you get there, you can talk to another guy that talks about some stuff on a planet called Giant's Deep. And, you know, maybe that'll make you curious and make you want to go there. And there's another option that in that guy before that gives you some options of, I'm just gonna wing it. Like, you know, that's just like, okay, go do the thing, it's fine. So it kind of lets you pick an initial goal and gives you an initial direction that you can go to. And then from there, you'll find stuff. And maybe that'll give you ideas on where to go next. And it kind of balloons from there. And I think it does it pretty well. So, yes, I do think about how information is transmitted through games a lot. And I hope that once I actually start developing more games myself, that I can use some of that information to, you know, do something similar. To present my games well, so this way people will know what to do without necessarily having me say, hey, here's your goal, go do it. Because that's boring. Okay, what's some other things that kind of came up while I was playing the game here? Yeah, I remember when I was talking about mechanics not necessarily going super hard in on their conceit. Or at least in my opinion, or where I'm just like, you know, I wish that they did this, but more. And that happens a lot when I play a lot of more modern games. Where I feel like they have a central conceit, and then they don't do anything with it, and I get sad. And when I was talking about that while playing, I brought up Subnautica. I still have a lot of mixed feelings about Subnautica. It was the first game I played on this channel. And, man, I was so into it at the beginning. Just, I really liked where it was going. Like, the atmosphere was spot on. It was super nerve-wracking to do anything. And I was really curious about all the mysteries it was putting down. And then it didn't do anything with any of it, and I was so sad. I was so sad. It just, like, scratched the surface of the most basic things. Like, one of the things you can do in that game is you build, like, vehicles, and you can build a house for yourself, basically. And in that house, you can put some stuff. And I mostly just used it for storage. I had a scanner to help me find crafting materials. And then I had a couple of things to make water for me. And that was it. And I never really... Even that, I felt like I overbuilt. I even tried building some scanner rooms just out in random places because I thought that I might need them at some point. And just having these little habitats out there, so that this way I could have little waypoints and I could kind of see what was going on, because there were some... There was some crazy stuff in some places, but it was all just atmosphere. None of it was actually, like, legitimately threatening or anything. And so when I went to go build my vehicles... When I went to go build my vehicles to go explore those places, I, like, horrendously overbuilt. I had, like, all of my engines up there, so this way I could hold out against dangerous things for a long time. I had, like, shields and a bunch of stuff, but I never needed it. And I was so sad. All the scary things, they were there just to make you feel paranoid. They were just freaking fish. And thus I cry. And kind of got me thinking about things, and one of the things that I was thinking about before kind of venturing into the game that I'm making with my husband or a Phase Connect fan game that I'd like to make. I don't think I ever talked about that. I'll talk about that too, but later. But one of the a game idea that I just kind of arbitrarily thought about, and I'm not sure if I'll ever make. I called it the least cozy exploration game ever. And I wanted to kind of venture in to some stuff. One of the ideas that went into it was what I wish Subnautica did. Of just being horrendously unforgiving and terrifying. And just making you claw your way through things in order to be able to get a foothold anywhere. And oh, it still sounds like fun to me. Maybe I'll make it someday, but it's not really on my list of priorities right now. But it just made me think of that, and I continue to just be a little bit sad that Subnautica did not go very hard on what I consider its central conceit of survival. So I just went around trying to find as a survival and finding things. Because the exploration in that game was honestly pretty mid too. Like, I was super into it at first, but after a while, I started realizing that it was just putting waypoints and telling you where to go. And that there was nothing more to it. You never really had to know where things were. You never really had to find anything. The game just always told you exactly where to go. Sometimes with exact coordinates. Oh, it's so sad. Once I got to the end and the veil was lifted, I was so sad. I might still play Subnautica 2, because why not? But I'm a little afraid to do so, because I'm afraid that I might come across as a little bit negative now that the veil has been lifted on the original. Oh, man. I don't remember what I was gonna tangent into, so yeah, I had plans to make a Phase Connect fan game, and I guess I can talk about it a little bit. It'll probably happen once I get around to studying Godot a little bit more. Unfortunately, I have like 4 things going in parallel, and which one I feel like doing is somewhat variable. Lately, I've been feeling like drawing and writing, so I've been doing less on the programming end or the game design end. We'll see how I feel about it. Oh yeah, and I actually, you know what, before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit more about Yoku here. So when I was talking about the central game conceits and whatnot, and I was being sad that Subnautica I don't think went very hard on theirs, I feel like this game did. And going hard on your central conceit doesn't mean that your game has to be hard. It doesn't mean that it has to be like, I don't know where I was going with that sentence, so I'm just gonna stop. But all it means is that the idea, the central idea you want for the game should be core to the game. And it should be what the players interact with the most. And in this case, it was pinball and exploration. And that's what the game did. And that's what made me happy. That's all the game had to do. It just had to be pinball and exploration, and that's all I really wanted. And that's what it did. And I was happy. It was a very lighthearted game, a very simple game. Also fairly short, very straightforward. And that's fine. It doesn't have to be deep or complicated or anything. It can just set out to do what it wants to do, and that's fine. It's wonderful, even. And then that's why I compared it to Subnautica, which I'm not even quite sure exactly what it was setting out to do, if I'm being honest. The best I got was that it was made by a bunch of people that really love the ocean, and wanted to have an alternate way to do things besides violence. They they definitely succeeded on the loving the ocean part. The game is gorgeous. The ocean is beautiful and terrifying, and I love it. But if you wanted alternate ways to do things besides violence, then I feel like there should have been actual challenges where there was a choice to be made, where you could choose violence or not choose violence. But there was never any need to, because nothing was ever really in your way. And it's easy to not choose violence when nothing is in your way. And honestly, I think the only reason I even know that second one of not choosing violence is because I read some stuff by the developers, and I knew that was something that they wanted to do. It was not even immediately clear from the game. Other than, you know, you never got options. Ocean is beautiful, though. That is definitely true. I can tell it was made by nerds. Caring about, like, the evolutionary path of the species, making things just beautiful and terrifying, like I said. All the different biomes and the ways that they interact with each other. Caring about how the different types of fish get their food, what they eat, how they hide from predators. That's why I like to go and scan, like, everything. Because I really liked seeing all the stuff that they put in there. Like, that was definitely something that they did very well. I can tell that they really liked making that game. I just wish they went harder in their conceits. And I'm like, it could have been so good. But yes. If I'm going back to a Phase Connect fan game, I do plan on making it. I will probably do most of the process on stream, but I'm still kinda figuring out what I want to do with that. I have not yet figured out my central conceit. Other than I know, like, subgenre, it's gonna be tower defense. That much I know. But I get the feeling that if I don't do my due diligence and just really think long and hard about how I want things to go, that I'm just gonna make an Arknights clone, and while I do think Arknights is very good, I want it to be my game and not Hypergriffs. So Arknights is unironically like the one gacha game that I actually think is good. If you can tolerate gacha, I do think it's worth playing, but I don't blame you if you can't tolerate gacha. I unfortunately quit playing relatively recently. I don't remember how long it's been. It's been several months at this point. Just because I have a hard time tolerating gacha. I couldn't deal with the dailies and time-limited events anymore. But I will tell you, Phase Connect Tower Defense, not gonna be gacha. Not gonna have dailies. It's just gonna be a complete game. And you can play it at your leisure. Yeah, it's like, I thought, when I was thinking about what kind of game it should be, I thought for a pretty long time on what I wanted it to look like. You know, with me being a Metroidvania enjoyer and Rooney Ruse being who she is. Just like the perfect Metroidvania villain. I was kind of going into that. But I couldn't quite work out a lot of how the rest of it would go. And I was eventually like, you know, I think it would be even better if I could include all of the talents in the game instead of focusing it around what would probably amount to less than 10. Maybe around there, depending on how many bosses I wanted. But I thought that would be a little bit sad, and I thought 35 bosses was a little bit excessive for a Metroidvania. So I was just thinking, you know, what's the kind of game that just has lots and lots of characters that I think would be interesting to develop for her? And I remember talking about it with my husband. And when I went over the constraints, he was just like, man, that sure is a list of constraints. And we talked for a little while longer. And he was just like, hey, what about tower defense? I was like, oh man, that's perfect. Let's do it. So thus, Phase Connect Tower Defense. That'll be a thing. It will be. I've also been getting into Variance Project somewhat since somebody reminded me it existed. It's like I had heard the name at one point, and this was before the Talents debuted, and I was like, oh man, that sounds really cool. I kind of want to see it. Is this gonna have like all the theater geek energy that I like in my VTubers? And yes, so far it seems like a resounding yes, so I'll probably end up watching them some more too. And who knows, if I like them enough, maybe I'll make a fan game for them too. And with them only having 4 talents, I'll have options for a game that does not require as many characters. And maybe that'll be appropriate for a Metroidvania, but maybe not. I don't know. For now, I should probably focus on one thing at a time, because I'm really bad at this. I have this problem a lot, actually. I've been having this problem a lot lately, too, where I don't quite know what I want to do, so I've been trying a lot of things. I like drawing, so you can bet that I'm still gonna draw many a thing. That's still gonna be happening. But I've also been enjoying writing stuff lately, and I have a comic I want to write, so I've been working on that. And now I have, you know, a Phase Connect fan game that I want to make, and so I've been occasionally studying Godot on that. I also kind of want to get into voice acting again. And for that, I'm having to kind of get over personal cringe. And so I've been working on that, and just what my voice can do. I don't think I can do it on stream yet, because I will still die of cringe, but I'm working on it. I do hope that there will come a day where I can voice act all the lines of unvoiced dialogue in games, and I can actually give people different voices, because that sounds like fun as hell. I tried to do it for this game, and I nearly threw up. And I figured, you know what? For the sake of the show, I need to get over my nerves first. So I just kind of did it lightly. I tried a little. I stepped into the cringe territory without jumping off the cliff. I'm working on it. I want to be able to do those things, and I also want to improve the stream and do more different types of content. I have plans for the future. I guess I mentioned them a little bit at the end of my crony drawing when I had like an hour to yap, because I finished the picture early. But yeah, there's lots of things that I'm doing, and I also still want to learn how to animate. I have a problem. There's too many things I want to do and not enough time. So I gotta try to focus here. Oh, bad. Life is hard. I hate how there's so few hours in the day. I do. I want to go do all the things, but reality says no. Reality says no, and it's very sad. Okay. What else? It's like, yeah, another thing I was talking about a lot in-game, of just talking about the curse of being a person that enjoys 100% in games. Unfortunately, a lot of developers, not even in modern games, even games I played when growing up, just use this as an excuse to just put a lot of random stuff in there. Oh, trust me, even if I went to another planet with a different time scale and was able to do all the things there, I'm sure I'd find out a new and unusual way to not have enough time to do all the things I want. The world is just too cool. It is. Like, what am I supposed to do? I would certainly find ways to bring it up there. I need like a hyperbolic time chamber. So I could work on one thing and then have no time pass, and then work on the next thing and have no time pass. And just get as distracted as I want. But I can't do that. That's why I was saying. that unless that number was infinity, I would find a way to fill that up. And I would still not have enough time. There's never enough time. Never. The world is too cool. I would find ways. I would find ways to just fill that up with everything. There are too many cool things I want to do. Too many things. Even the things that I'm doing now, even the things that I just put on that list is probably pared back from everything else that I'd like to do. Like, you know, reading more stuff about science, or watching more VTubers, or... You know, that'd be pretty sweet too. I'd be fine with it. But admittedly, I'm not sure what I'd do with that kind of power, because that only gives you the power to punch things. And I'm not super interested in that. I am the creator of universes, not the destroyer. Universes do a fine job destroying themselves. They don't need my help. Mad. But it is my true lament. It truly is. But you know, it's alright. I'll figure out what's actually important. Well, you know, the one thing on that list that I didn't go into, but I will never compromise on, is I always make a point of trying to do stuff with my family. I'm sure my kids would say, hey, you should do more, but they're 6 and 3, so I don't think they quite understand, but that is the one thing that I don't compromise on. I've been getting to do more stuff with my husband lately, and that's been great. We've been playing Dyson Sphere program, and man, I felt like for a while we just had no time to play games together, and it was kind of terrible, so I'm really glad that we're able to do that. I've been getting to think about so many things about conveyance, because it does some of that pretty well. And just giving you goals without telling you. So, I guess I can go on a Dyson Sphere project tangent. For people that don't know, it is a factory building game. We've been making many a factory building game, because the game that we're working on together is combining a factory building with Metroidvania. It's really cool, trust me. I do plan on making a proof of concept on stream at some point. I'd like to get a little bit more familiar with Godot before I do. I probably have sufficient development information to do that at this point, but I just want to get a little more familiar with Godot. And figure that out, just so that this way I'm not having to constantly look stuff up while I'm trying to code and remembering how to do things and that kind of thing. I am super rusty when it comes to programming, so I kind of want to derp around a little bit more. Just because I'm not sure how interesting it's going to be to watch me flail super hard. I don't know, it could be. I guess I flail a lot when I do art, but I feel like I actually know what I'm talking about when I do art, so... But, yeah, so we've been playing a lot of factory games. Let's see, what have we played so far? I mean, Factorio, obviously. That was kind of the entry point into the factory game. We had a good time. And we also played, so we played Vanilla before Space Age came out. And then we played Space Age after. And that, I think, is one of the most well put together games that I've played in a long time. Factorio, that is. It is super well balanced. The progression, pretty satisfying, and like it knows what it wants to be, and I think it does it pretty well. It's just not the kind of game that I can play for as long as some of the people that really like it. I am not too interested in mega basing. And I'm more interested in watching other people do crazy challenges. I don't know, I guess if you have any interest in watching Factorio content, Michael Hendricks and Dosh Doshington are who I'm watching right now. I watch it with my husband sometimes. If I'm watching stuff on my own, it's probably VTubers at this point, but or Outer Wilds playthroughs. But yeah, Factorio pretty good. Then let's see, after that, we played Satisfactory. We had a good time, and it was kind of our first exposure to combining the factory genre with something else. In this case, kind of exploration. And our lament there was that they didn't go hard enough on what I felt like was the central conceit of combining factory building with exploration. You'll find that I say that about many games, where I get really sad that they don't go hard enough on what I felt like they were trying to do. So, the factory side was a lot of combine widget A with widget B to make thing C, and the supply chains were pretty simple. I remember my husband got really, really excited once we got into aluminum and we had to deal with byproducts. Because that added what he felt was like an interesting complication. My opinions, I was not the one driving, so to speak. He was playing and I was mostly watching. So the satisfying factory building, I don't think I felt it quite as strongly because I was not the one driving. But anyway, the point when that game was at the strongest was around that point, because that was when you could make the rifle and some strong ammo and you had, like, actually good jetpack fuel so you could deal with all the verticality and stuff. And that's kind of when things got interesting. But when you go run around the world, all you're gonna find is some things to help your factory be a little bit more optimized. Which, you know, is fun. But I never really felt like he had to do it. And I always think that's a little bit sad. It's one of those things that I think is a little bit hard to describe. So it's not like it's not worth it, but I wish there was more. Especially considering how big the world was. And I thought it was also a little bit sad that it became fun to actually run around and explore what amounts to the very end of the game. And that kind of idea is what led us into wanting to make a factory game that was actually just as much about actually doing something with your factory, as opposed to just turning it all into science. Because that's basically what a lot of these factory games do. You're not actually making anything in particular. You're not trying to do something with the factory. You just turn it into more things so that this way you could do more things and build more things with the factory. And then eventually you reach the end. Whereas the end of the game that we're thinking of is not even with the factory. It's going to be in the exploration Metroidvania half, where you go and defeat the final boss. That's where the game ends. So everything that you build in the factory actually serves a very concrete purpose, as opposed to, hell yeah, factory autism. Hell yeah, trains. Let's see, then after that we played Shapes. Shapes 2 more specifically, the early access version. And we felt like that just pared the factory genre down to its most base components. And we had a pretty good time. But it got a little bit repetitive because that game is what we describe as like a perfectly smooth sphere. Like, to the atomic level. There are no rough edges in that game. And I'm thinking about how to describe what I actually mean there, because that's not going to mean anything to anyone but my husband just yet. So give me a moment. Let me actually think about how to explain this. So when you play a game, you encounter obstacles. And overcoming those obstacles tends to be like the point of the game. In Shapes, there is basically no resistance. You have like an infinite number of resources. You need no resources to make belts. It's just getting the thing from point A, transforming the shape into whatever shape you need it to be, and then putting it in the end. And that's it. It basically pared down all complexity. It still has a reasonable amount of complexity. But you don't have any, for example, like biters in Factorio. There's nothing out there to destroy your factory. There's nothing out there that's going to get in your way besides your own incompetence and making spaghetti factories. And what you have to actually do is extremely straightforward. There's very little dealing with like byproducts or anything like that. And I'm making it sound bad, but it wasn't bad. It really was just simplifying everything down into the essence of factory genre. Taking out anything that is not the true essence of a factory genre. And I think it succeeded in what it was trying to do. But it also made me realize that I like some of those rough edges in games. I like accidentally cutting myself on the video game, so to speak. Where, you know, sometimes things get, oh gosh, I don't know the exact word because it's not a difficulty thing. I don't want to say where things get hard, but it's where I don't necessarily feel like I have full control over what's happening. Where the game bites back, where maybe I have to make suboptimal choices in order to get through things. I've been feeling that watching Factorio content, where people do ridiculous challenges with biters in like Death World, and make it so they have to build just super conservative in order to avoid just dying immediately and that kind of thing. Or, yeah, I think the good way to put it is where the game bites back and doesn't let you necessarily do what you want to do. And you have to make hard decisions and stuff like that. I also felt this feeling a lot with replaying Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. I played that a lot, like 15 years ago. And then I played the new version, I think it was either earlier this year or late last year. And I felt like the game had become so incredibly balanced that there was no real tough decisions to make anymore. If I was gonna die, it's because the game randomly decided to kill me because that was the developer's game design philosophy. And I felt like that was really sad, where no option was truly better than the other. And I'm sure that sounds good on paper. But this is a dungeon crawling roguelike. Half of the fun of those is having to use some suboptimal options until you get something good. Some of those is, you know, the fun of that is figuring out what you need to reach the end and not necessarily being able to get that and having to make do with what you get. But with all the options just so balanced, with all those rough edges shaved off, it just didn't feel the same anymore. It actually made me a little sad. So, that's what I felt like Shapes did. And Shapes did it very successfully. It was a pretty good game. If you have interest in factory building subgenre and want the coziest factory game ever, Shapes 2 will do that for you. It's one that went hard on its central conceit of just being the essence of factory building. It's just I found that maybe I'm not super into cozy gaming because I want the game to bite me, and I want to have to fight it sometimes. I think that's only half true. Occasionally, I do like cozy, relaxing games. I feel like Yoku was an example of that. But it bit me occasionally too, so it was fine. Pinball machines, man. And let's see. And then after Shapes, now we're playing Dyson Sphere Program. And how should I describe that? Okay, this is gonna sound rude, but I'm gonna use the word that I used to talk about it with my husband. It is extremely Chinese. Chinese games have a particular flavor to them. I remember after getting into Arknights for the first time, I went through just a lot of gacha slop to see if there was anything, because I know it's a new genre, and I had kind of dismissed mobile games and gacha games entirely, and after playing a lot, I feel like I was entirely justified in doing this. I am not a gacha person. I don't like it. And I would also, on a more positive note, I would also describe After Image as extremely Chinese. And what I mean by that is I think what a lot of Chinese developers are good at doing is they look at what genres are out there and then make it bigger. They like inflate the size, often to the point of bloat. Not always, but often. In fact, I'd say most of the time probably to the point of bloat. So with After Image, you had that huge map, which was mostly good, but I felt like they probably could have shrunk it, maybe like 25%, and it would have been better. And just making things more dense. With Dyson Sphere Program, it's looking at the number of widgets and their tech tree that makes me feel like it's extremely Chinese. And their tech tree is extremely large and extremely complicated. And the sheer amount of widgets you have to combine together to make anything in this game, ooh, it's astounding. It's huge, man. And I think they kind of overdo it on both counts, but it's still been a pretty fun game so far. It definitely has some things that I really like about it, and also a couple of characteristics of games that are extremely Chinese that I actually think are very positive. In that, they are very good at giving you very concrete goals without telling you. So I used After Image as an example of that, where, it put that waypoint of Misty Waters at the beginning of the game, and it's just way out in the eastern part of the map, and it would take you forever to get there. So of just a particular goal, but, you can go off and do your own thing, it's fine. In Dyson Sphere Program, what it did is there's a building material you want. It's titanium, but it's not on your starting planet. You have to go to another planet to get there, so that motivates you to go build the necessary stuff to get off the planet and go colonize this other one. And from there, for a while, you have to manually transport it back and forth, and that takes a little while, and it's pretty annoying. And that motivates you to get interplanetary logistics set up, and that was really cool. So it gives you very long-term goals, and I actually feel like Chinese games are great at doing this. Even the gacha slop. Very, very good at doing this. And I always feel that really hard, and I think that they do it a lot better than a lot of Western games, actually. At least modern ones. When I compare... I'll say, like, Chinese online games to Western ones. Or even Chinese games to Western games with, like, large maps. And that kind of thing. The way they introduce their game and give you goals is actually generally pretty solid. So those are the two big characteristics of Chinese games that I've been feeling. Or I guess I should say three. The first one, they're generally taking an existing idea or combining two. The second is that they make it huge. And then the third is that they try to give you very, very clear goals without actually telling you what they are. They're good at making it part of the gameplay. So there you go. That kind of sums up a lot of the factory games that I've been playing with my husband lately. They're pretty good. It's an interesting genre. I look forward to seeing where it goes, and I hope more factory games start combining the factory aspect with something else. You know, for the factory game that I'm making with my husband, that's going to be an exploration element, but I don't think it has to be. The first idea that I actually had was that of kind of a dungeon crawling roguelike, where you'd use the factory to make gear and then deck out your characters that way and enter the dungeon and fight things that way. So that was actually my first conception, and it just turned out that what we wanted to do, the Metroidvania thing, worked better, and you know, I'm fine with that because I love my Metroidvanias. But I think that it could be combined to make lots of different things. So I hope more people try things. I hope more are made, and I hope that it continues to be very interesting. I like them. May or may not play them on stream ever, because I tend to play them with my husband instead. But, you know, I'm happy to talk about them. Always happy to talk about games. Sometimes it's just hard, because I don't have a lot of time to play games, so you have to kind of hit me in the genres I know. or the games I know. Which unfortunately is mostly obscure indie stuff, or stuff from 10 or 15 years ago. And even then, I played very few games, but I played them to death. I am a completionist. It's what I do. It is what I do. Did I ever get into my completionist tangent? I feel like I was about to start it, and then I got distracted by something else. Yeah, sure, let's go ahead and do that tangent now. So, I do like 100% of games where I can, but so many developers make it painful. Just so ridiculously painful, and use it as an excuse to just fill it up with bloat as opposed to more cool stuff. And I'm sad. So sad. I actually did 100% Super Mario 64 back in the day. I don't think I ever did Sunshine, but I did do 64. And, yeah, I was a little bit less inclined to 100% things as a tiny human, but certain ones caught my attention. Like, I did 100% Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask took some doing, but I did do those. Zelda's great. Let's see, I think I also 100%ed the Game Boy Zeldas. Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, Link's Awakening. I don't think I 100%ed A Link to the Past, but yeah, most of those felt pretty okay. 100%. It was just a matter of exploring around, finding heart pieces. I did have to use a guide, but for some of them, which is unfortunate. But they felt okay. And then we get into some JRPGs. Like, when I was a tiny human, I really liked Tales of Symphonia. I wanted to 100% that game so bad. But oh god. It was so bad for 100% completion. I think the point that I gave up is when I started looking into what you'd actually have to do to complete the figurine collection. Because you'd have to grind enemies nonstop for pellets. And then you had RNG to actually get the figurine that you wanted, and they served no purpose gameplay-wise. They were just there to pad it out, and that's just awful. And not to mention, to complete the collector's book and get every item in the game, you had to complete the game at least 3 times. Because there was a scene near the end of the game, in the Snowy City, where you had to talk to specific characters, and sometimes they'd give you a gift. And there were 3 characters that all had unique gifts. And I hated it, man. So I ended up not 100%ing that. Oh yeah, Godot looks pretty good from what I've seen. I'm looking forward to not having to program collision detecting. I've done that before, manually. It's awful. Don't do it. This is why I wanted to use an engine. I don't want to do that again. It's no. Life is too short to code doubly linked lists from scratch. Yeah, and I remember back then, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna 100% this game. I'm a little bit sad, but you know what? It's okay. I was pretty okay with dropping it there. And it wasn't until Hollow Knight that I really started considering what it meant to 100% a game. Because like, my husband and I played through that, and we really liked it. Hollow Knight is great. Definitely... Dude, I think it might outright be the best Metroidvania I've ever played. Unless you count Outer Wilds as a Metroidvania, which I don't, strictly speaking. But... yeah. And then the DLCs, the free DLCs came. Some of them, I think all of them definitely had merit. The Grim Troop I felt like had more padding than not, but it had that really sweet boss at the end. So I kind of, I thought it was fine. It just, getting to that boss was a little bit boring. But the really egregious one was God Home. I have no problem with boss rushes. Especially in a game like Hollow Knight, which very much focused on the combat aspect of Metroidvania more than the exploration point, or part. Boss rush makes sense. But then they put in the Pantheon of Hollownest, in which you fight literally every boss in the game in this super long boss rush that you cannot die at all in. Every attempt, when you were actually getting close to the end, I think took over an hour. And you had to fight all the easy bosses every single time at the beginning, just over and over again to have a chance to get to the end. And worse of all, there was unique content in there. There were 2 new bosses that were not anywhere else in the game. So that really started making me think, well, at what point does adding more content to the game actually make the game worse? And I realized that the more I started thinking about it, the more frequently it happened. Or rather, no, that's not the way to say it. But basically, I started noticing just how much games were sabotaging themselves by adding all this random junk. Like the figurine book from Tales of Symphonia, utter junk. It had no place in that game. It only existed to extend the playtime. It did nothing, and it was annoying. The Pantheon of Hollowness straddled that line for me. Because on the one hand, Hollow Knight was a very, very hard game. And it was a combat-focused Metroidvania, and it was largely about the bosses. Like, the bosses were probably the best part of that game. Or, no, I don't think I can say that, because my favorite point of the game was not those, but I do think that the bosses were basically the point of the game. Like, that's what the developers wanted you to interact with the most. I think that's a reasonable way to put it. Maybe not the best words, but the sentiment. So I was like, okay, a boss rush for that game makes sense. But is a boss rush that takes over an hour to even do an attempt on really fun? Like, is this really a good thing to be putting into your game? Are people going to like doing this? For Hollow Knight specifically, that's actually a maybe. And that's why I struggle to say that the Pantheon of Hollowness was a bad addition to the game. But it really straddled the line, and at that point I was old enough to actually start thinking about these things. And it made me reflect on all the stuff that I was seeing in the past. But that's why it kind of straddles the line for me, and Well, I'm kind of sad at the level of padding in a lot of games. I commented on it in a little bit in After Image too, where I felt like a lot of these side quests, I don't know why they're there. The game is already huge, and I know it's extremely Chinese and that they like to make things as huge as possible. So I guess they felt the need to just add more stuff even though it wasn't really necessary. But, oh man, I felt it so hard when I realized that in order to get to this other place, I was gonna have to do New Game Plus. And I was gonna have to play through the whole game again, and I'm like, no, that seriously crosses the line into bloat. That's just not good. I think it's getting worse. The idea of bloat in games, I think it's been getting worse for a long time. When you just have, I'll call it the Ubisoft game, because all their games are basically the same. Just have a nice open world, put random collectibles in places, and there you go. You got yourself a Ubisoft game. It's really egregious there. But I think it's been showing up in a lot of games where they just feel the need to pad the playtime because you have to be able to play the games for a certain amount of hours to justify whatever price tag they want to put on it, and whatever microtransactions that they want to charge you, and that kind of thing. And so, rather than making the game, like, good, they just bloat it to hell and back. It's very sad. I take my game design very serious. So seeing these things, and seeing the state of the industry right now just makes me really sad. If you ever wondered why I'm really only into obscure indie stuff at this point, well, there you go. Just looking at it makes me sad. And I think it makes me really sad because when I was a tiny one in college studying game design and development, I actually did intend to enter the industry for a while. And then I remember during my second year, or no, it would have been the third, so after 2 years, in my third year of studying, I actually really looked at the industry and I'm like, okay, not doing that. I'm gonna make games in the basement and have a real job to fund it. So this way I can make whatever I want, regardless of whether or not it sells. Didn't quite pan out that way, but, you know, there's still time. I'm still hoping to make my Face Connect fan game and the game with my husband and all of these things, and even if I don't end up making games, it's gonna be because I decided that there's something I wanted to do more. Like, you know, my comic, or my voice acting, or my stream, or, you know, what have you. My art. All these things I think are pretty worthwhile, too. But I'll be doing something cool. Making myself sad, even with the jaunty music playing in the background. That summarizes the game design industry as it is right now. Yeah. The one thing that can make me sad with the song in the background. Oh my goodness. I have no regrets not going into it. None whatsoever. God, it's like I thought my last job was soul crushing. I can't imagine having to put some of this bloat in a video game, have that be my job, and then have my boss being like, okay, yeah, if you don't put the bloat in the video game, we're just gonna fire you and get someone else to do it, and by the way, you probably have to work like 80 hours a week, because otherwise we won't finish the game on time, and, yeah, deal with it. No thank you. I would die in real life. This is why indie games are great. It's made by people that actually want to make games. Or, you know, I shouldn't say that. I do think some of the people that go into the AAA industry want to make games. But they don't get to make the games. They gotta do what some other guy's telling them to do. And it's very sad. But here, these people are making the games that they want to make. I can tell that whoever made Yoku's Island Express, they wanted to make this game. And that's why it made me happy to play it. Whereas, with a lot of pretty much anything AAA, I can feel the hate and the disdain for the player base. I can feel the existential dread of the developers putting stuff into the games that they know are gonna make it worse, and being sad about it. And I cannot tolerate it. No. It makes me depressed. And I don't want my entertainment to make me depressed. I do a fine enough job of that on my own. Okay. I better change the subject because the subject is sad. So sad. Although, man, I don't know what else I want to talk about. I went through all the tangents that I went through very thoroughly while talking about this game at this point. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe games to play in the future. I like kind of being the Metroidvania person, because it's definitely my favorite subgenre. But it's just been hard because I don't talk about games very much anymore with people. I don't. So not a lot of games have caught my eye. That tends to be how I hear about them. And just scrolling through GOG or something, I actually find kind of stressful. There's so many options, man. So I don't know. I'll have to think about what catches my eye. It's just hard. It's like, as much as I want to get suggestions from the community, when people do that, they generally suggest like super mainstream stuff. Like 90% of which is going to be like 3D for one, and like I won't refuse 3D games. I played Subnautica, and Outer Wilds is probably my favorite game ever, and both of those are 3D. But for the most part, I just vastly prefer 2D games. I don't know. I prefer playing stuff in 2 dimensions. I like existing in 2 dimensions. It's a wonderful place. The 3rd dimension I don't think adds very much. Humans don't fly. But, and I remember somebody, I was like, yeah, feel free to suggest games, and then somebody immediately suggested Bloodborne. And I'm like, oh god, you want me to play a 3D game about reflexes and fighting bosses? I don't even know if I'd like that game. Just because, you know, FromSoft games are generally considered good, but they're not my genre. I don't know if I'd like them. It'd be like if somebody came in and suggested that I play Street Fighter or something. I do kind of like fighting games, it's true, but like, I'm never gonna be good at Street Fighter. I'm not. I probably... I mean, I might do better than just somebody playing it randomly, because I do know some stuff about fighting games, but... I don't know, it feels weird, man. Because most people will suggest games based on their taste, not mine. And that makes it hard. So it kind of makes it hard for me to decide what game to play next, because shopping around for them I find stressful, and getting suggestions is probably not gonna get me suggestions for games that I think I would do well with. So life is hard. I mean, that said, feel free to suggest things anyway. It's just, you know, if you suggest something out of my wheelhouse, odds are I won't play it. Because I actually do like being able to talk about things, but I don't know, maybe there will become a day where I kind of want to expand my development horizons a little bit and look into other genres, and then, you know, maybe it'll make sense. But even then, I'd prefer if it was 2D. Actually, no, this is a point. This is something else I can ramble on. I don't really know why I prefer 2D, I just know that this is true. But there is one exception, where I actually think 3D can thrive very well, and that is in my wheelhouse, and that is exploration stuff. Because 3D can actually do one thing that 2D can't, and that's... Let's say the Breath of the Wild opening. You're up there on a big cliff, and the scenery opens up before you, and you can see so much of the world, and you can just look at a direction and be like, oh, what is that? I want to go over there. You can't really do that with a 2D game. Because with 2D, whether that be side-scrolling or top-down, you can only see kind of what's in your immediate vicinity. You can't see the horizon and what's out in the distance. So, this is actually like the one thing that I think 3D does well. I think people just take it for granted that modern games have to be 3D for some reason, and I just don't think it's true. I don't think the third dimension adds, like, anything to games in 90% of cases. But that is one case where I do think it actually does something. Where you can just see something in the distance and wonder what that is, and go there. I'm sure many people will disagree with me on this and think that 3D does a lot more than that, but... I don't know, man. It's taste. And I'm not too bothered by saying that. It's fine for some things to be taste. I just like 2D aesthetically, I think. It also makes movement a little bit less complicated. Might also just be a woman thing, because I do know that in general, just... there has been, like, actual scientific consensus that men see things better in 3D and women understand 2D better. Like, this is an actual thing within our brains for some reason. It's unclear why, but for some reason... it just is. So, might be related to that. I'm pretty okay with just saying that. I don't know why, I just know it to be true. Yeah, well, this was kind of interesting. Just kind of rambling about various design things and stuff about games that I've been playing. I'm not sure how much of it made sense, because I don't know, like I said, just kind of rambling. Looking forward to, you know, being able to do more things. We'll see if it ends up... how much game development I end up doing. I do miss programming, I do. So, hopefully it comes back. It's just... lately, there's been lots of other things I've wanted to do, so I haven't really gotten to study Godot yet. So I don't know when I'm actually going to do Godot's streams. I'd like to get a better understanding of how to structure things before I get too deep into it, because... I don't know. Like, it probably doesn't actually matter that much, but it would make me feel better about myself, so there you go. Basically, I feel like if I have to trawl through documentation constantly, and you do a lot of trial and error, that it may not be very fun to watch. And I would like to at least make it to the point where I don't have to be just constantly Googling, okay, how do I do this basic thing? And I can just kind of write it, maybe reference the documentation occasionally. So that this way it'll be a little bit more interesting to watch, and I also would struggle to read chat and read documentation at the same time. So, I know I tend to be a little bit light on the chat interaction, but I want to at least be able to kind of do it, you know? So, tried to do some studying there, but I get distracted by, you know, the millions of other things I want to do. Drawing, writing, voice acting. I'd like to make myself a version 2 of my models someday. So I've been poking around animating it as well. Because, like, a lot of... Like, I've been using the same stream assets since I started streaming, and I think that's fine. It just means that I'm constantly looking at 2-year-old art. And I'm like, man, I can do so much better now. I'd like to update this to more reflect my current skill level. It's okay. It's always awkward to look at art that's like 2 years old. That's always been true. Hardly unique to me. I still like my current model, though. I still think it's pretty good. The main one that bothers me is my stream starting screen. I see what I was going for. I just don't like it anymore. The composition is so bland. As expected of 2-year-old art, especially since my art improved greatly over the past 2 years, since I was doing so much more of it. So I think it's to kind of be expected, but I don't know. At the same time, I feel like updating the art and my stream assets and stuff is gonna do, like, absolutely nothing to help me grow. So that's why I haven't done it. Because I don't actually think they're that important. I could probably use a static screen of just going, hello, my stream is starting, and it'd be fine. So, as long as the content on the other side was good. But nonetheless, I'd like to do it someday. But I think I'd like to grow the channel a little bit more first, so you can bet there's gonna be more stuff. Because, yeah, I remember my growth during Inktober. Lots more people came, I was getting so many more views and subscribers and stuff like that. I kind of miss it, but I don't think I can keep up finishing a drawing every day. I was driving myself slightly crazy during Inktober because I was just drawing so many things. And I could not polish any of them. And it killed my soul a little bit. The perfectionism is too strong. But I think I could probably do 2 or 3 times a week, so that's what I'd like to do come January. And then maybe put out some other interesting stuff. Do more than just draw a thing on stream, I guess. I'm not quite sure what it's gonna look like yet. But you can bet that I'll be trying. Alright, I do think that's probably all I've got yap-wise. I don't know. If there's anything you guys want to ask me, feel free. But otherwise, I might just end stream a little bit early here. Maybe draw some stuff. I have some Christmas gifts to make. So yeah, I'll open things up to questions, but I think that's all I've got in me talking about game design. That's kind of all that's coming to mind. This game was good, by the way. I liked it a lot. And I've liked listening to the song for 2 hours. I could definitely listen to the song for way more than 2 hours. It's a good song. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Just so happy. But alright, I think that this might be where I stop for today. I'm glad I played this game. I think next is going to be a Sheepo. Another Metroidvania, because of course. I love me my Metroidvanias. Maybe I'll play something in a different genre someday. Who knows? But they've been nice to find. And I've been enjoying them very much. And I also, you know, I'm trying to combine Factory game with Metroidvania and the game that I'm making with my husband, so I've been wanting to explore the kinds of mechanics and things that are out there and what we can do with them, so I'll probably be sticking with them for a while longer. Also, I like them. So there we go. But I guess I'll go ahead and stop here for today, so thank you all for coming. And I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow. Enjoy the jaunty song when it comes back after I click off to my end screen here.